So huge news has been released that Agit Kabayel versus Zhang will be February 22nd. And this is a huge fight between these two guys because a lot of people have been waiting on Agit Kabayel to step up the competition, even though he was counted out as an underdog against Frank Sanchez, and a lot of people didn't think he had a chance. I picked Kabayel for his last two fights, to be honest with you. And he's been on just as hot of a run as Daniel Dubois, just about the same. And a lot of people are overlooking this guy. He hasn't gotten credit for anything he's done. He's just next in line as far to most people, but this guy's been really, really underrated this whole situation. And Zhang, he's someone that I've wanted all these heavyweights to test themselves against. Not just Deontay Wilder. He shouldn't have been the first one. He should have been the third or fourth or fifth one by this time. But him and Joseph Parker and even Kabayel, we fought Makhmudov. So it's a lot of situations right now where the heavyweight division is starting to clear up, and you're starting to see who's really the top dogs, and why you're starting to find out why a lot of these guys haven't faced each other. A lot of these promoters are scared to put their fighters in the ring with some of these guys. They might not be a big name, but the reason they're not a big name is because they haven't had the platform to flourish off of. So that's why they're not a big name. But with all things being considered, this is a good situation for a guy like Kabayel to be in, because he knows that his back is against the wall, and a lot of people don't want him to come out of this situation and be on top. This is going to be a difficult situation for him to overcome with the extreme circumstances. But Zhang is a tough fight. Bukoli was a tough fight as well. A lot of people said that he withdrew from that fight, but as I've seen, like, the focus is always on who's ducking who and all that stuff. Come on, man. Like, ain't nobody. It's only one or two people that's ducking people that's involved with Turkey Al-Sheet right now. And those names aren't being mentioned. So until those names are mentioned, I will actually take serious what other people say about heavyweights. But Kabayel hasn't ducked anybody. I don't know why that's even a situation to even be talked about. If we want to talk about ducking, Kabayel's undefeated. So for him to be ducking a guy who has a loss doesn't make a lot of sense. And especially ducking Zhang. Nobody's ducking anybody to fight Zhang. Zhang almost has 100% knockout rate the way he fights. And if he hasn't knocked you out, he's knocked you down before. So this is not an easy fight for a guy like Kabayel to even be in. So for a lot of people to be mentioning Zhang as if he's an easy fight is extremely crazy. A lot of people said Wilder was ducking Zhang recently. Now they're saying, well, Wayne Zhang's ducking this guy, and so is Kabayel ducking this person. Over the last 5 years, the ducking that has been going on in the heavyweight division, it has not been documented. It has not been talked about. And these are two guys who's some of the most ducked fighters in the sport of boxing. It is what it is. Even with Zhang catching that loss against Hrgovic, that still shows you that you can bounce back and make something happen. Activity it means a lot in boxing. And this is a huge fight that needs to happen, but at the same time, these are two guys that's being placed to face each other that people don't want to see actually. So it's almost like a situation like this. You got two guys that people really don't want to fight. So let's just put both of them in the ring and knock each other off and use withdrawals and everything as an excuse. No guy who has no opportunities or no Kabayel has had many opportunities over the years to showcase his abilities. I highly doubt with the publicity he hasn't been getting these last two fights. I highly doubt that he just said, you know what? I fought two hard fights I ain't get credit for, so I'm just gonna change this opponent. Nah, that ain't how that's going. But yeah, Zhang is a huge challenge, man. It's hard to get in the ring with him and not get knocked down or knocked out. So this is a situation where Kabayel, we want to see him survive and possibly win. That'll be a huge upset. Even though he's a guy who's the undefeated fighter on a hot streak, circumstances, everything included, still a tough fight.